Ladies and clitmongerers, Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet and full-time human. This is the Kill You're in a Loser show. Let's fucking go. Hello.
Can we make it
do the
normal
big
now?
reveal. Hello, everyone. So, today we are doing part 6, I believe, of our 2021 recap. So this is us going through and talking about everything we did last year, all the shit we achieved, shit we're grateful for, shit we're happy about. If you haven't watched the first part, you're a piece of shit, literally. Figuratively, literally, metaphorically, emotionally, viscerally, visually, and tentatively a piece of shit. Go back and watch that first part. Otherwise, nothing I'm saying here will make any sense.
What does viscerally mean?
It was a word where I meant to say visceral, but I said visceral. But no one's going to know that. They just heard a lot of orals, and these people like oral. So if you haven't watched the first part, go back and watch the first part. We talked about why we recommend you guys do a recap yourself, why it's worth giving yourself credit, blah, blah, blah. Let's jump straight into it. Before you do that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell and do all that ding-dong shit. I've never said that in my entire fucking existence.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if you have that.
I want to be a YouTuber. I want to say all the YouTube shit. And make sure you fucking do the YouTube shit for me. Leave a comment for the algorithm. So, number 66. This was a tough one.
Yep.
So, my coach gave me this. My life coach gave me this. Basically, working on being kinder to myself. And I'm someone that's been pretty harsh with my body. And when I say harsh, as in I have like high expectations. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And he basically said, look, you're going to get to your goals a lot quicker if you can be fucking nice to yourself. This is something I tell all my coaching clients. I was never really hard on myself, but I haven't given myself credit for how far I've come. You know, I used to weigh 77 pounds more than I do. I lost all that weight. I did a bunch of shit. I've been going to the gym, all that kind of shit. And he basically said, here's a task to get you to be nicer to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and be grateful for your body. Like go over all your different body parts and be grateful. You know, even if it's just, I'm grateful for my stomach because it digests all the food. I'm grateful for my legs because they carry me everywhere. The point was to be grateful for every single part of you, to stop looking at yourself in terms of like, I hate myself, I hate where I am, I hate, you know, I have all this way to go. Instead say, no, like my body's decent and I'm going to fucking improve it. I'm going to make it elite, but it's decent enough now. Or it's decent now, so I don't have to sit there and hate myself because you waste energy hating yourself. And the next step above that was being able to look yourself in the mirror and saying, and this was fucking confronting, being able to say, I love you to myself. That was really fucking hard at first. It was really weird, I'll be honest. I was like, why am I having to do this kooky, like woo-woo shit where I have to say, like, I love you? There was a thought of like all the masculine shit of like, isn't that fucking gay? Isn't that gay to tell another man, even if it's me, I love you? For women, they get this exercise. They're like, no, I want to love myself. Men are just like, why do I love myself? What the fuck? That's some gay shit. But
yeah,
working through it was fucking good. It's something I've done every night now for the last like 3 weeks, I'd say. Maybe 4 weeks. It's been a while. It's fucking good. I like it. It's weird. It's like it sets me, it puts me in this positive sort of mindset of like, no, I like myself and I'm going to fucking improve myself. I already did like myself, but for those of you who are very negative and have a lot of negative self-talk, something like this is going to be fucking confronting. I gave this to a guy I had on my podcast, Spider Jerusalem, and he started with, I like you. He started with just looking in the mirror and saying, I like myself, and then I like you, and then eventually worked up to, I love you. It was fucking confronting for him too, because he had all the same shit of like, that's not masculine. That's like, why am I doing that? That's weird.
Yeah, and it's something that we've both started doing. I think if anybody in your audience was to do this, I would probably note that you do actually want to feel the feeling of I like myself or I love myself. Don't just say it, because you can say all sorts of shit and not mean it and not feel it and it not do anything. But really like look at yourself as if you're looking at another person, but knowing it's yourself and feeling the feeling of loving yourself.
Another thing you can do if that's still weird to you or confronting or whatever, or you think like, oh, that's a waste of time, that's gay, what am I doing that for? Is look in the mirror and say, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay, or I'm decent. Either of those. I'm okay is a pretty good one. Like, I'm okay, I'm decent. And obviously that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm not going to improve at all because I'm okay. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not telling you to love yourself as you are and never improve. No, I'm saying be fucking nice to yourself. The same way you love your mates. How are you able to love your best mate? You look at your best mate and you're like, I'd take a fucking bullet for you, bro. I love you. Like, you're my best fucking mate. How can you do that, but you can't do that with yourself? Like, that's an incredibly weird thing that we all walk around, or most people walk around, not particularly liking themselves, or if they do like themselves, they certainly don't love them. They don't have love towards themselves. It's not so much about loving yourself. It's more about having love towards yourself. There is a difference. You don't have to love where you are. You don't have to love your body. You don't have to think everything is perfect. But you have to show love to yourself the same way you would with your mate. You don't think your mate is perfect, but you have love towards him, even though he's not perfect. So being able to do that for yourself, it just makes you infinitely more productive. It makes this whole fucking self-improvement thing infinitely easier. You make more progress. Yeah, it's fucking... Plus, it's nice to just be able to, like, not hate yourself.
Yeah.
To just say, I'm okay, I like myself. Like, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, positivity and self-love and just not feeling bad has so many benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
In so many different areas of your life. It's not just for the sake of it.
Yeah, we're not just giving you some weird kooky exercise to do because it sounds like spiritual and self-help and woo-woo and all that kind of shit. It literally makes you more productive. You waste less time hating yourself. When you hate yourself, you waste a lot of time. All that time you're spending beating yourself up is literally wasting time. And then more to the point, after you finish beating yourself up, you feel like shit. You don't feel like going and improving yourself. So then you have to now motivate yourself to go to the gym or to lose weight. So it's like you've just fucking invented a problem that you now have to fix yourself. So that was a bit silly. So that's part of the reason why we say to be more positive. Mm-hmm. You can read out number 67.
Number 67 is being more patient with some of the girls that we saw or are seeing, and specifically being prepared to wait a couple of weeks, like texting them before we actually meet up with them. Yeah. One girl in particular was the best example of this. She had broken her ankle, and she basically couldn't drive to come and see us.
Yeah, she lived about an hour away, so she couldn't come see us. Foot was all fucked up.
So yeah, it was like a week or a couple of weeks before we even met her the first time, because we ended up going to that city to see some friends anyway. And then from that point, it was like another week maybe before we saw her again. And I think the success with that, I know it's something that you've said before, but like maybe there has been a limiting belief that if we don't see a girl immediately, that she won't end up seeing us, or the chances of her seeing us are going to be drastically reduced.
Which they are, to be clear.
Yeah.
If you don't see a girl within a couple of days of matching with her on Tinder or meeting her in person, the chances go down the longer it is. But I think I just wasn't even trying. Like, long ago I said, like, I'm not even going to fucking try. Like, if she says, hey, I can't meet you for a week or two because, like, I would just delete her number and not even try. And fair enough. Like, my mission was to get laid as much as I could. I didn't really give a shit about wasting time on a girl that was like, oh, I can't see you for a few weeks. But we've been, and this isn't even to say that you guys have to do the same thing. I'd probably still recommend most guys, like, just be a bit more, like, not cutthroat, but if you want to get laid a lot, just stick with the girls that will meet you within a couple of days. Don't waste as much time on the ones that'll take longer. We're more at the point now where we're happier to wait. It's more like, I got enough shit going on. I don't need to get laid. We're already sleeping with other girls. This chick says she can't meet for a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's fine. She can just meet us in a couple of weeks. And so that's been a nice experience. Like, seeing that a lot of them were still fuckers. A lot won't, let's be honest. 90%, 95% still don't. So that's why I say don't waste time on a girl who says I can't meet you for 2 weeks. Or what you can do is just say, like, yeah, that's fine. I'll hit you up in a week or two. Don't message her at all. And then a week or two from now, hit her up and be like, hey, how's it going? What have you been up to? Like, do you still want to meet? Do you still want to grab that coffee? That's what I recommend doing. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Because that girl was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, she was a virgin. Sex was amazing. That was, like, really good sex, too. I'm surprised that she was that good. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Number 68, I shall read. We are moving towards being more loving with other girls. And what we mean by that is showing them a bit more love, a bit more patience, a bit more kindness, coming from a more, like, I was already pretty kind. I've already pretty much been coming from that place of, like, mentorship, but just, like, going even further deep on that. And it hasn't been necessarily, like, an intentional thing. I didn't go, like, oh, I want to be, like, super nice to the girls that we date. But it's more just, like, as I've gotten my shit together even more, as I've been seeing my life coach and getting my life even more in order and being even happier and shit and content with who I am, you just naturally are in a really good place, and you want to be nice to the chicks that you're seeing. You want to look after. It's like I've been much nicer to my fucking friends. I've been way nicer to you. It's like you're in a really good place and you want to share that with other people. which is part of why I wrote that article a while ago saying getting laid makes you a better man. One of the points I made in there was like being able to handle your sex life to a point where you get laid or you get a girlfriend or whatever. That just makes you nicer to girls. Like it really, really does, because you're really happy with your life. So does making money. So does like reaching your financial goals. So does losing weight. So does getting a bunch of friends. Any goals that we work on that really improve us as a person, it just makes you want to be nice to people. You want to give back to the world. When your life is awesome, you want to share that with other people. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, of course. And so the point is that we've been doing that more with girls.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about it in a previous episode going through this list, but I think in the past there has been a little bit of desperation with girls. Like you said, it kind of reset when we started seeing girls together as a couple.
Yeah.
As to like a confidence and an abundance as to whether we're always going to have lots of girls that we're seeing.
I think for full context, so because we moved so much in the last 2 years, it feels like, here's the way I'd explain it. Every fucking time we move, it feels like we have to reset and like, great, we're sleeping with 3 girls that we really liked. Great, now we don't get to see them again and I really like them and that sucks. Okay, fine, let's go find some more girls. We find more girls. We finally get to a point where we're sleeping with some, hey, sorry, fucker, you're moving again. Oh my God, okay. And it's just been this, it feels like we've been stuck in the process. And then like Christmas just now, Christmas is always kind of an annoying time to meet women because they're always busy and shit like that. It feels like we've been stuck in this, I mean, not stuck, but I feel like for the last 2 years, we've been in this process of like, hey, see some girls. Hey, oh, sorry, they've gone. Oh, you got to go find more girls. Hey, sorry, they went too. Or you left. Oh, hey, you got to go find more. It's been this annoying cycle of being stuck in that place of like getting more girls and not being able to do what you and I want to do, which is see them for a little longer, which is like what we're moving towards. Like, can we date some girls for a year, 2 years, couple of years? Like, we've just been like chasing that.
Yeah, and so
working on that.
When you say be nicer, like at times there were points of frustration where they would flake a little bit or be less reliable.
And you're like, for fuck's sakes, like, do I have to keep this fucking game up? Which is something that everyone goes through.
Yeah.
Like, most guys go through that point. I've said this a million times. Like, I still go through these periods every now and then. It's way easier for me now because it's not, I don't take it to heart. I'm just like, okay, I'm being a bit grumpy because I'm sick of getting flaked on. I got flaked on 10 times over Christmas or 20 times or whatever. Okay, take a deep breath. Everything's okay.
Yeah, and so now, like, moving towards love, when a girl says, oh, I'm not feeling too well, it's easier to be more empathetic.
Yeah, as in I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to come meet you. Yeah. Can we meet later? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, instead of getting frustrated, I'm like, oh, poor girl, I hope she's okay. Yeah. Number 69, do you want to read that? That's about you.
Yes.
69 is nice, by the way. You got to say nice when I say 69. Say nice. 69.
I'm not like 8 years old.
Oh my God, I'm not 8 years old. You literally think children know what oral sex is in your mind. You think an 8-year-old would know what oral sex is?
No, I don't think they know
How
what oral
dare
sex
you?
is, but I think they are aware of the connotations around certain words, not knowing what they mean.
Yeah, they just go like, oh, that's the naughty sex number. Okay, so can you do me the courtesy, live on air, of saying nice after I say 69? For the viewers at home, 69.
Nice.
You're so fucking juvenile. Just read out the fucking question, all right?
So, last year, I had a conversation with my dad about my childhood.
Not me. When you say daddy, you don't mean me. You mean your actual father. She means her biological father, not her daddy. Not me.
Yes, I mean my father. And that was a big one. I talked about it with my coach at the time that I was seeing because I was working through some of the, I don't want to call it baggage, but some of the stuff from my childhood where it felt as if there were quite a lot of expectations put on me and a lot of pressure, and at times I didn't necessarily receive the love or validation that I wanted. And that obviously built up for years, and last year I did some addressing of that. And I thought it was actually helpful to actually have that conversation with my dad because he's never been somebody that I've been particularly communicative or open with, because I never got that back from him. Whereas like my relationship with my mother is completely different because she's always been very loving and accepting and open. So when I visited my parents who live in a different state last year, I specifically had like a little sit down conversation with my dad, more so for me than anything, just to be able to voice how I felt. And so that was big for me, especially because it wasn't necessarily going to go well. And I went into the conversation fully accepting he might say something that I don't want to hear, and that was going to be okay because I was going to get it off my chest for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a couple of coaching clients. I can think of one in particular that have like done this with their parents. Maybe they had a shitty childhood. They sit their parents down, and it's not about blaming and saying like, you abused me, you're a shit parent. Like, it's more just like saying like, hey, it really wasn't okay what you did. You know, I've worked through this now. I'm in a better place, blah, 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 blah. That can be the conversation. Or sometimes the conversation is like, hey, listen, I understand you did your best. I get that you're a fuck up and you tried and you love me and it's okay. I forgive you. Like, I'm going to have that conversation with my father at some point. I think I'm just going to write him a letter, honestly, and say, look, Dad, you're a fuck up, but I understand that your dad was a fuck up and you did the best. I can see clearly that you loved me. I can see clearly that you wanted me to be a man. You just didn't know how to fucking teach me how to be a man. I get it. Like, you didn't intend to fuck up. You fucked up, clearly, but you didn't intend to. So, Number 70. We never wore a mask. You did for like a couple of weeks at the start of like 2020.
For my job, yeah. And then on the plane flight from Melbourne, where we moved from, to Brisbane, I also did as well.
Yeah.
Just to make that
sure.
easier.
But other than that, you just haven't the entire time. I've never worn a mask like for a single second. Technically, I put a mask on in my own home for 2 seconds to see what it felt like, and I was like, this feels like a muzzle. Fuck no. And I took it off, and I was like, so I've never worn a mask. Didn't get vaccinated.
No,
didn't follow any laws that we didn't believe in. I guess we can read 71. We decided not to be affected by vaccine passports. There's vaccine passports here, like you can't go into cafes and restaurants and cinemas.
And they were introduced recently for context.
So, but the parts that is the success. By the way, if you guys wear a mask and get vaccinated and follow laws, like you're welcome to do whatever the fuck you want. I really don't care what you do. I'd prefer you didn't, because I think, I've made my views on that very clear, but it's not up to me to tell you what to do. But the main success here was that we didn't get angry about this shit, especially the vaccine passports. We got angry a little bit about masks and that sort of shit. But
yeah, it's been a gradual process over the last couple of years. There was a lot of anger. I remember when they first introduced mandatory masks, and I was with you.
Well, I was first frustrated when they first introduced lockdowns in 2020. In the start, I was like, have you guys lost your fucking mind? Like, what the fuck? Why have you lost your mind? Remember, I did a bunch of research at the start. I was like, this virus isn't even fucking deadly unless you're fucking 80 years old. I showed all the research, That's neither here nor there. But the point was that we decided to calmly just go like, right, if we can't go into any restaurants or cafes, that's fine. Like, we'll just do our own shit.
Yeah.
We've gotten ourselves to a point where we're very... I mean, everything people are doing outside is goofy. Like, they're all living in clown world, but we're very much at a point where we're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we'll just get on with society. Or get on with our lives while society goes insane.
Yeah, particularly in the last couple of months, we've been way less affected by everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I still, will laugh at stuff. Like, I'll see something on the news and I'll just crack the fuck up. I don't intend to watch the news, but it's on in my gym, which is really annoying. It's on the big TVs that I look at, and I try not to, but I see it out of the corner of my eye. And I'll laugh at something. I'll be like, oh my God, like, these people have lost their fucking minds again. But yeah, other than laughing at shit, like, we've pretty much ignored it for the most part. And like, this list is a testament to that. I'm pretty happy with everything we've done on this list. We've still got a few things to read out and stuff, but it's been a pretty good year. The last 2 years were my best years of my entire life during a fucking, like, pretend pandemic. So I think we did a pretty good job. Okay. Number 72. You can read that one.
72, we got skin cancers checked.
Yeah, which is something that I've put off for a long time. I'm very fucking white. I have a long history of skin cancer in my family. And I've known the whole time, like, okay, I got to get my I got to get my fucking moles and shit checked to make sure I don't have any skin cancer. So finally did that. Super quick process. Took like fucking 20 minutes. Cost like almost no money. Everything came back clear.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things where it's like, it's on the list of things to do, on the list, on the list, on the list. And eventually you're just like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. Yeah,
and my mission over the next couple of years, I'm going to get to a point where I have a blood test to test all my hormones, all my minerals, all my, shit. What else do you check? Fucking cholesterol, all that kind of stuff, kidney function, liver. I'm going to get that at least once a year. STD checks twice a year we're doing. We'll talk about that in a second. Skin cancer's checked once a year. You can get other things like EKG or ECG, like to check your heart. I want to get like just checkups generally. Yeah. Like to check my health function at least once a year. I don't think I'm at the age. I'll get my prostate checked as well because my family has a history of that. My dad had prostate cancer. I don't think I'm quite at the age yet where you need to like start going like, oh shit, I might get cancer. But I want to start that early. My mission is to be really into it by the time I'm like 37. Like it's all sorted. I get checked. It doesn't take any effort. It's all done. Because, I mean, anyone with cancer will fucking tell you this, or anyone who's had a run-in with cancer. Cancers get bad because you didn't catch them early. If you catch cancers early, it's like, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to get like a minor surgery. It's a fucking joke if you catch it early. All the cancer in my family was caught early, except for my grandfather. And like, it's a fucking joke. It's like, cut it out, done. There you go. Check it every 2 years to make sure it hasn't come back. You're fine.
Yeah, I think almost everybody knows someone or has a family member who's had some form of mild cancer, and it was like, oh, they had some operations and then it was done. Like it's not a big deal if you're on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the success is more it's a preventative check and that we're looking after our health.
Yeah. Because I want to fucking be here. I like this planet. I like this stuff. I cared way less in my 20s and early 30s. I would never have got like any. I don't think you need to get cancers checked and shit when you're in your fucking 20s. But
sure, it's redundant until a certain point. But
number 73, we got a. Would you call it a boil?
Mine was a cyst. I don't like the word cyst.
I don't like the word
very
cyst.
dirty.
I basically had a fucking like ingrown hair or whatever you want to call it. Ingrown, like a skin pore that's like become ingrown. I don't even know what you call it. A boil, a cyst. It's like, it's completely harmless. It sits on the skin. It's just a lump basically.
Yep.
And doctor said like you can leave it there and it will do nothing. It might grow bigger, it might not, it might go away, who knows. And I was like, fuck it, let's just get it cut out. It had been there for a while. You got yours cut out.
Yeah.
You had like a little tiny fucking pathetic one in your neck. I had a big ass one on my back. I was nervous. I was really fucking nervous for that. I'm glad I did it. I feel a lot more conscious, like less conscious about it. I was self-conscious about it. It's a fucking weird process because they give you like a local anesthetic, so it's numb, but you can still feel what they're doing. And I could like feel him cutting into my back and shit. And he's like, he and the nurse were cutting for like fucking 40 minutes, I told you.
Yours was
and
bad, mine wasn't.
Because it was big and it was really, it's a lot bigger under the surface. So there was a big giant fucking hole in my back. And the bit that was gross, I mean, that was gross enough, but the bit that was gross is all of a sudden I could feel like wet, hot liquid, like squirting onto me and dripping down my back and down my side. And I said, oh, did you just squirt something on me? And they said, no, that's blood. That's your blood. And I was like, oh my God, no. Because I could feel it like squirt, like running until they grabbed it and like stopped it. So fuck me, that was gross. Yeah, that was gross. Let's just say that was fucking gross. It wasn't that bad, but it was just kind of like, oh, fuck off. Like, why'd you have to make me squirt all over myself?
Yeah.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Similarly, mine was unpleasant, but mine was more for a different way because mine was on my neck and it's very close to like my face and my ears. And your neck, like if you feel the skin on your neck, it feels very sensitive and it's like you don't really want anything sharp and pointy going there. And I could kind of hear like the scratching of it as they were cutting it out. And like I could feel...
I could too, yeah.
I could feel it, but it just felt like someone like touching you. It didn't feel painful.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and there's something a little bit like psychologically unsettling about it. But the whole point of us doing it was, again, we've talked about just like slowly upgrading appearances, getting little things sorted out to kind of improve ourselves.
Yeah, my physical self-improvement has definitely taken a backseat over the last couple of years. And this year was the first year where I was like, all right, okay, like, you know, come on, whiten your teeth again, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I definitely cared less about my appearance, especially with all the like lockdown shit that's happened in the last 2 years. So it was good to get back on track with that shit.
Yeah.
Number 74, and then we can probably start finishing and leave the last one till the last episode. Number 74. We got STD checks. I got an STD. I don't think I actually did a fucking podcast or a video about this.
No, you didn't.
I got, what did I get?
Chlamydia.
I got chlamydia. Had no symptoms. You didn't even catch it.
I didn't catch it.
I didn't give it to you.
Which was very unexpected.
Because you and I have a bunch of, like, every time we fuck is unprotected. You and I. When I fuck you, it's unprotected.
Yeah. So
I've had a vasectomy for
so many times and I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I don't know how I did. But I've said this before, like, people freak out about STDs. And it's not to minimize them, wear a condom, like, all that bullshit. But people freak out about it and go like, oh my God, what if I get an STD? My player career will be over. I'll never be able to have sex with someone ever again. It's like, no, you just take a pill and fix it.
Yep.
or a lot of them just clear themselves up. And I'm not saying don't go and get tested, but, you know, and people go like, oh my God, I had sex. I saw a guy on the forums ages ago who said like, oh my God, I had sex with a girl and we wore a condom, but then later she told me she had chlamydia. Like, oh my God, what if I die? And you're like, fucking, like, you can have sex with someone with an STD like multiple times and not catch it from them.
Yeah,
like
us being a great example.
You don't fuck someone who has an STD once and guaranteed get it. It doesn't work like that. Yes, wear condoms. Yes, be protected. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Go and get tests. We are getting tested once a year. I want to get tested. Also, I think I've already said this. Anytime we're going to fuck a chick without a condom, we'll probably just get an STD test around there.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the best way of doing it. But, yeah, whatever. The only time we don't wear a condom is if the girl's like a fucking virgin. That's like the only time. We used to wear condoms a lot less. Like, we were pretty, like, loose with condoms. Yeah, for sure. But we would still screen for girls that were inexperienced. Most of our girls were inexperienced. And if we met a girl that like was a party girl, I'd just wrap that shit up. But these days we wrap up everything unless she's a virgin. So you guys do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck if you wear a condom. I literally don't care. I'm not ever going to be one of those people who's like, you have to wear a condom. I say that just so some fucking retard doesn't go like, oh, Andy said you don't have to wear a condom. Yeah. But like, I don't give a fuck what you guys do. You guys are fucking adults. You don't need me to preach to you and be like, wear a condom. Make sure you guys wear a condom. It's like, grow the fuck up. I'm not your dad.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing that can happen is pregnancy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't, unless you want to ruin your life, don't get a girl pregnant. But I've had a vasectomy, so it sucks to be you bitches. I can't get anyone pregnant. Number 76 is actually related to that.
We skipped 74.
We'll come back to it. How about I move it? So number 74, 76, whatever, fucking the order's screwed up. Next one is getting more rigid about wearing condoms. Yeah, so like I just said, we didn't used to wear condoms all the time. We would if it was a girl we didn't trust. But a lot of the time we just wouldn't. Or we would the first couple of times and then we just not wear condoms. Like I said, we're now at the point where we just wear condoms unless she's a virgin or unless she's had an STD check. And we've had one too.
Yeah, I think part of that is... or at least for me what it is, it feels like taking your health more seriously, not even from the perspective of an STD, but to get rid of something like you took antibiotics and that's not good on your
antibiotics fuck you up. Yeah,
body.
So you take an antibiotic to fix an STD.
Exactly, and that's not like...
They can mess with your gut health a little bit.
Yeah, not something that you want to be doing on a regular basis. So
sure.
It at least for me, it feels more like the success with that is that we're taking our health more seriously in that respect.
For sure. We may as well wrap up there and then save the last for the last episode. Is there anything more we want to say about like STDs and shit like that? I mean, not really. People have asked me before, like, what's your opinion on STDs and this? And it's just like not a subject I give a fuck about. It's like if you want to be an adult, wear a condom. If you don't. Like, what do I give a shit what you do?
I haven't read it, but I think you said Mark Manson has
a really good article on STDs, and it basically is an article to calm you down. I've referred to it a lot of times, and he basically says, like, look, you're not going to catch an STD unless you do a bunch of stupid shit. Yeah. If you do, you're extremely unlucky. Wear a condom, like, blah, 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 don't stress. Like, people freak out about STDs. They think, like, oh, my God, my life would be over. Your life will only be over if you get a girl pregnant or catch AIDS. And you're only going to catch AIDS, or you're most likely to catch AIDS if you have, like, anal sex with a guy or you're sharing needles with someone. So don't freak out that much about STDs. Yes, fucking do your own research, figure out if you want to wear protection or not, but... You know, people are weird about this one. They'll go like, oh, if you're in a position of authority, you got to tell people to wear condoms. It's like, what? I'm not your fucking dad. Like, it's not my job to tell you what to do throughout your entire life. And I refuse to be that person. It's not my job. What I will do is, if it's something like, you know, STDs, I'll say, do your own research. Figure out if you want to wear condoms or not. If it's something like LSD, I'll say, do your own research. I don't recommend you just go out and take LSD. Like, but it's not up to me to sit here and warn you. You guys are 18 and above. If you're under 18, you wouldn't be watching my content. You know, do your own research. Wear an ST, wear a condom if you want to. It's up to you.
Yep.
Understand the risks, though. Understand if you're choosing not to wear a condom, you are risking getting a girl pregnant. You're risking getting an STD. You don't then get to complain like a bitch and freak out and go like, oh my God, I got to go pregnant. Oh my God, what should I do? It's like, well, you know.
God.
Yeah.
Even the thought of that's terrifying.
Yeah. I know. People freak out about STDs and completely ignore pregnancy. Pregnancy is the one where you're going to flip the fuck out.
Horrifying.
Yeah. And then you have to pay child support because she doesn't want an abortion because her family's religious and they'll freak out or something. And then what? Now you're stuck. An STD, for the most part, most of them are fixable.
Yep.
Not that I'm encouraging to get STDs, but yeah. For the most part, I just don't give a shit about this topic.
Sure. Which is probably why you don't talk about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones that I almost get, I try not to get annoyed, but I do get mildly annoyed when the topic comes up. The same as the other one I don't like talking about is consent. Like, because here's my ideas on STDs and consent. Like, it's both summed up in the same way. It's like, you guys are fucking adults. There you go. That's my views on consent. I shouldn't have to tell you, like, don't rape someone. Make sure you ask for consent. Make sure you wear a condom, or if you don't, you have to be okay with getting an STD. Like, make sure if you get someone pregnant, like, you have to pay child support. Like, why do I need to tell you guys that? You're not 12. You know the consequences of not wearing a condom. You know the consequences of someone getting pregnant. You understand what happens if you don't fucking ask for consent. You'll fucking hurt someone and destroy them, and fucking maybe you get into legal trouble. Like, do you really want to fucking hurt someone? No. Then you'll ask for consent. Like, these are weird topics to me. I don't feel like these are relevant to my audience, and I understand why sex educators and dating coaches and people like that talk about these topics, because for the most part, most of them are talking to newbies. However, I have worked really fucking hard to screen out most newbies. Most of you, the vast majority of you, are not newbies. How? Politely, I block newbies. If someone asks a question that to me means shows me that they haven't even done the bare minimum of reading of anything, or they're like a complete like they're 12 years old or something, or they just don't even understand male-female interaction or something, I block them. Like, I mute them from my channel. I block them on my website. I wouldn't let them on the forums. I've worked really hard to screen a lot of my language and the way I talk. I deliberately do not dumb myself down. I don't dumb down my speech. I use a lot of, what would you call it? There are a lot of times I'll use a particular phrase or a word, and I'll think, what if people don't know what that means? And I'll be like, I don't care. Like, they can Google it. So, yes, I'm deliberately not dumbing myself down. I'm clearly not appealing to the masses. Nothing I've done has appealed to the masses at all. Yeah. No, the masses wouldn't like me, if anything. I'm very unappealing. Yeah, polarizing. And that's by design. That's how the forums are the way that they are. That was an intentional choice. That's why you have to sign a contract and put your picture up when you sign up for the forums. Do you know how many people email me and say, can I just join your forums without signing the contract? Or do I have to show a picture of myself? It's like, yes, you're the person I'm trying to screen out. Yes. Or they'll say, like, can you just let me on the forums? I don't want you on the forums. The fact you would ask that question means I don't want you on there. And so by screening out people who are, you wouldn't even call them newbies, people who are just like something more new than a newbie, people who won't understand nuances and subtleties, and they won't use critical thinking, and they do need to be told, hey, wear a condom or you'll get an STD. The people that need to be told to wear a condom are not my audience. I don't want them to be my audience. I have nothing against those people. I just, in order to help them, I would need to pull myself down to such a low, like, beginner level that is not interesting for me to talk about. If I have to sit there and be your father and tell you, wear a condom, don't get a girl pregnant, make sure you ask for consent, it's very important that you don't push her and rape her, like, that's not interesting to me. That's, someone else can handle that. Like, a sex educator in school can handle that. Isn't that the job of school? Why am I doing a school job? It
seems silly that people will tell, like, public figures, anybody who has an audience, that it's your responsibility.
Yeah, fuck that responsibility thing. I signed up
to
to be nobody's father, and I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, I will help people. I'm trying to help all you guys, but at no point did I sign on for being responsible for any of you.
Yeah, just because you talk about sex doesn't mean you're obligated to talk about every single facet that people believe is important that you should talk about.
And people will do that, won't they?
Yeah, and I think this is one that people get quite up in arms about. Like,
STDs and consent, yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's also why, I mean, we've talked about this together before, like, why it's been avoided, just because it's such a heated topic for people. It's like discussing politics. Like, quite often you just don't want to touch it because people get shitty about it. This will be one of the few times I ever talk about STDs or consent. This will be about, and I've gone to write a bunch of articles about consent and how I don't like to talk about it. And you've seen, I've written entire things and then just deleted it and said, I'm not going to talk about this.
Yeah, because I just don't like this topic.
You're not somebody that likes drama or
Correct.
starting debates. It's like,
I'm not interested in people saying like, oh, you weren't responsible. You didn't hold the hands of people who don't understand that unprotected sex could result in an STD or pregnancy. It's like, I'm sorry, that's not my mission. I never said I wanted to save or help those people. Again, that's somebody else's mission. And I respect someone who would want to save those people or help them. That's not me. That's not my audience. That's not the type of individuals I would, and nothing against them. Maybe I sound like I have something against them, but that's too dumbed down for me. There you go. That's a way of saying it. It's way too low level for me. It's just not interesting. I'm sure none of you would find that interesting. If I sat here and said, hey guys, make sure you wear a condom, always wrap it up, but you don't have to. And like you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about condoms for, dude? I know to wear condoms. And sometimes I'm naughty and I don't wear a condom and I know that's a risk and I shouldn't do it. That's me being naughty. I know that. Like, you don't need me to sit there and be like, make sure you wrap it up, boys. You're like, you know.
Yeah.
Most of you are, my audience skews a lot older as well. My audience skews 25 to 35. Sorry, 25 to 37 is my average, like 27 to 37, that's what I meant to say, is my average age of my audience. It's on average older than 30. And so you guys are not the fucking men that I need to sit down and say like, hey, wear a condom. You're like, excuse me, young man, I'm older than you. I know, or I'm your age. I know to wear an S. Half of my clients are my age or older. Like, you know to wear a condom. You know to fucking even consent. Consent is the stupider one. Like, the vast majority of my audience want to make women happy. What do I tell you all the time that my coaching clients will say? They'll say, I just want women to be nice to me and I want to be nice to them and I just want to meet a nice girl and we have lovely time together. Like, that's my audience. I don't need to fucking patronize my audience and say, you know, make sure you ask for consent.
Yeah.
Make sure you fucking wrap it up. It's like, you guys know. So we'll finish this point. I think I said this point to death. You can tell I am very funny when I talk about this point.
I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
You can tell everything I'm saying is coming from a place of discomfort. This is not me having like a calm, rational discussion. I'm clearly getting a bit uncomfortable with even this discussion because it just feels like something I don't enjoy talking about because I don't enjoy telling people what they have to do. I think that's where it comes from. I don't like telling people what to do.
I think for me personally,
on a topic when they already know.
A lot of this is also like it's often done in an accusatory way.
Oh, yeah. No, so we're being defensive now, you're saying.
And it feels as if people will often say, like, they talk to you as if
you have a responsibility.
Almost as if you've already done something wrong and now you need to defend yourself. Yeah,
you need to explain to people why STDs are important. The fact you haven't done it yet means you're irresponsible. I've had that from quite a few people. I have like literally had that. Same with consent. Yeah. Like, the fact you haven't talked about consent yet means you're a bad person. It's like, fuck you, I talk about what I want to talk about. So, yeah. This was a weird topic to talk about. I'm glad we went down this route, though. This will probably be the last time I ever talk about STDs or consent because I just don't think it's that fucking relevant. Again, like you said, I think you pointed out, you hit the nail on the head. It's the discomfort from how other people say and like actively say to you, you know, you have a responsibility to talk about this. You're a bad person if you don't talk about this. People do it with LSD as well. Drugs. I've had several people say with LSD, like, you shouldn't even be talking about LSD because you're going to encourage people to take it. If you even just mention the word LSD, even though every single time I say LSD, I will then say, make sure you do your own research. I researched for 2 years before I tried LSD. It's not a light thing to take. Don't just go out and take it. If you've never tried it before, don't try it. Like, do research first. So, yeah, people are weird with certain topics that they just say you can't talk about. I'd say COVID is another one no one wants to fucking talk about.
Sure.
Probably get a bunch of people saying I'm irresponsible for saying that, you know, vaccine passports are a bad thing and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I think it's within me personally, to not touch on controversial things because I just don't. Like I said before, we both
Controversy is so beneath
we don't
most
like drama,
people.
We don't like debating, arguing. Yeah. It's just not a nice energy state to be in.
It is you pulling yourself down. Yeah. And I'm so surprised that so many people engage in drama, debates. Like Cam Radical, my moderator, has pointed out to me that a couple of people have tried to get me to engage in debates with other content creators. Like, it's happened quite a few times, actually. I've even noticed it. And it's like, why would I want to get into a debate? Why would I pull myself down to a lower level? Like, get down into feeling bad, arguing, angry, frustration, like not agreement. Like, how is that constructive? Wouldn't I rather pull myself up into something constructive?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we can stop here. This conversation has probably been a little not that constructive.
Sure.
I'd agree with that.
Destructive.
No, not destructive, just not particularly constructive. But
Sure.
I'm sure some people will find it interesting. Maybe that answers the question to anyone who said like, oh, how come Andy doesn't have an STD guide or something? It's like, yeah, because like you guys are adults. You know to wear condoms. How many people have told you throughout your entire life to wear a condom? Do you really need one more bald motherfucker telling you to wear a condom, right? You know that. Like, you don't need me to tell you to wear a fucking condom. And I'd be a hypocrite. How many times have I not worn condoms? I'd be a fucking hypocrite if I sat here and told you to wear a condom. That's probably another part of the reason why. So there you go. That's my full story. Welcome to my life. Thanks for listening. My head looks like a fucking condom. Bald penis. Beautiful fucking... I forgot to turn that light on there.
That's fine.
That's why it's so dark in here. All right.
It still looks okay.
What are these lovely gentlemen and ladies and other people and non-binary and twice-binary and trinary and quadary people need to do?
Go out there and crush your goals.
So aggressive. Look how aggressive she is, gentlemen.
Not aggressive.
The fucking future is female right here.